Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and this is still a problem for AT&T, and it's quite a big problem currently because they're wanting to invest and allocate more money into fiber. So what you're seeing is a available internet chart or plan in my neighborhood. And you can see it says speeds up to 10 megabits. So that's older copper DSL that's in the neighborhood. And it says up to 10 megabits. So there's no guarantee that they can actually offer the 10 megabits. It might be 5, 6, 7 megabits. Who knows? And then you can see the price point. It's at $60. So they're going to charge you $60 a month for for up to 10 megabits per second. So the reason that's happening, I just watched a recent interview with Chris Sambar, and he pointed out that they are still having to run and maintain the old 100-year-old copper network for about maybe 5% of users that are still actually using it. So there are some people, very few in my neighborhood that are still using that service. And yes, they're starting to transition them onto fixed wireless access, which is for the $60 price point, you're likely to get a much better performing network. But AT&T, the reason it's a problem is because AT&T is still having to spend billions of dollars out of CapEx on this resource. They're having to maintain still. When it goes down, they're still having to fix it because it's still being used. So he's pointing that out. This is holding us back from further allocating funds into fiber because we're having to spend billions on this. See, this is a cost that T-Mobile does not have to carry as a comparison. As T-Mobile is spending less, right, 9 to 10 billion, or closer to 10 billion, 9.6 billion. T-Mobile doesn't have to spend billions of dollars on fixing and maintaining a copper network. So T-Mobile's costs are strictly just really going to wireless. AT&T has to, in the interview, Sambar was saying that the copper lines are covered in paper. And if they get wet, I mean, you're down, your service is going to be down for weeks, especially in the area that's humid, where it's going to take a lot longer to dry. So it's a very inefficient, it's a very less reliable network. Fiber, it can get wet, it'll be fine. It won't go down, right? That's why AT&T is claiming that 99% reliability on fiber. They are nowhere near able to claim that on copper. He said sometimes in very rare cases, there's another cable that they can connect to as it comes to copper, and they get the service running get it uptime faster. But he's like 9 times out of 10, I have to open it up, take blowers and dry the copper in order for it to work again. So you could be down for a very long time. So it's now making more and more sense as to why T-Mobile offers the backup plan. This could be a reason right here. I mean, this could be down more than a week if the copper gets wet. And like I was saying, they have to spend billions to maintain it. So that's still a problem for AT&T. They could take literally those billions and invest it back into fiber, which is likely what they would do. They could take some of that and put it back into wireless. However they see fit, they would make use of that. But no, they have to spend it just to maintain the copper. Yes, they are shutting down that network in certain parts, but that's happening at a slower pace. He said it's not at grand scale yet. So what I perceive they're doing is they're keeping the price point the same for the customer, and they're just moving him to FWA. That'll be the smart decision. Like they'll send the customer email, text, a letter, whatever it is. Hey, this is your new router. Put it in the same spot as your old router, and we'll put you on our wireless network. The service, I mean, the customer shouldn't notice a difference. The customer should notice better performance on FWA. So this doesn't really hurt AT&T in any way. It helps them to be able to shut down the copper network and just put them on the wireless network. And like I said in a video yesterday or the day before, if they have to put up a couple more CRAN, then so be it. If there are some capacity constraints in some neighborhoods where there are more DSL customers that are now, he's saying the DSL customer is still pushing 400 to 600 gigs a month. Even at that lower speed, they're still pushing data that high. So you move them onto FWA with more speed, they might get to that terabyte. Very possible. So you got to look at capacity too. And like I said, if they have to spend money to build a couple of more CRAN to offload, then so be it. I would do it. It's still going to save you money in the long run. You're spending literally billions maintaining this old copper network that was built 100 years ago. Put them on FWA. Do it now. I would even say, if I was in Chris Sambar's shoes, I would accelerate this even further. I would tell the government, look, I have a respectable solution. It's FWA. Other competitors are deploying it as well. I'm going to move that DSL customer onto that. We're just going to do it. We're going to see what happens, put them on the service, and let's see what happens. If the requirements aren't met for that neighborhood, like if there's not a cell site nearby, it's not on C-band on DOD, screw it, put CRAN. Let's put a couple of CRAN. Let's get these customers off that old network. It's more efficient. It's going to save me money in the long run. That's how I view it. And especially if people are signing up for it at up to 10 megabits for $60. I mean, that's silly in my opinion. If there's another option available, that customer should have chosen that other option. And he discusses that in the rural environment. He even mentions Verizon and T-Mobile have options as well. So it's not like they're the only game in town, but for the sake of the business and being operationally efficient, it just makes sense to shut that copper down now more aggressively. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.